Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Blast. So today I'm here with a textured painting. I'm gonna paint this beautiful painting today, and I'm gonna show you step by step how I do this. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and if you like this video, give a big thumbs up. Alright, so let's start with the material. So I'm using 24 by 24 size of canvas. It's a large canvas I'm using today. This is a carbon paper for the tracing, and I already draw this outline on my iPad and print that out on 4 pages like this, and I'm just gonna basically trace that using this carbon paper. Okay, so now the first thing I'm gonna do is trim that edges. So let me show you. I draw this outline on my iPad. I use Procreate application for this, and just use same size of the canvas I use, and I kind of draw that on my iPad and I just print that out. So this is how it's gonna look like if I have 4 paper. This is how it's gonna look like. So that's how I imagine, and then I created this drawing. Now I'm just gonna tape this on the back side. Alright, so here I'm all done, and this is the canvas again I'm gonna use. It's 24 by 24. I'm gonna put the link down below if you like to get maybe similar size of canvas for any other project. Alright, so this is my favorite part, to unwrap the canvas. Alright, now I'm trying to measure and making sure it's on the center of this canvas. And I like to use a red color pen whenever I'm tracing anything like this, so I can make sure that I don't miss any part. Okay, so this took me an hour, so I'm gonna fast forward this part, but basically I like to use a red color pen or different color pen basically, so that I know I did everything and I didn't miss anything. Alright, and I'm gonna use a Sharpie marker to just go over those outline again and make it nice and darker. Okay, so on first day I only did the outline. Now here is the second day, and I am having my lunch. This is my lunch every day. It's a salad. Okay, so that's like my lunch from Monday to Friday. Alright, so now next part is working on the texture. I'm using this sand. You can also use a different type of a sand you can find from Dollar Tree or other craft store. And I also am using this glue. I got it for like very cheap, like $10 for a whole gallon. Alright, so I mixed the glue, a little bit of water, and some sand. And I'm just making sure what palette knife I want to use. I'm going to use a smaller one for the bigger area and that thin one for the smaller area. And I mixed it all and it looks like a paste now. Now here I wanted to show you this tiger I painted recently. I'm not done yet, but just wanted to show you that. Alright, let's go back to this painting. Now what I'm doing is adding this sand mostly everywhere here and trying to keep a very thin layer, adding more on the edges and just adding sand like this everywhere. I also add some on the bottom here and I just let this dry completely overnight. And now it's gonna be my third day here to work on this painting. Okay, so now for the background, I'm gonna start with the background first. I mix my black and blue to get this color that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna work on this background and I'm gonna add a lot of layers here. So this is not the final layer that you're gonna see here. I'm just adding just a base color right now, so when I add the last final color, I don't see that white empty dots of this canvas, if that makes sense. If you ever painted on canvas, you know what I'm talking about. So this is what I like to do, is just lay down the color, the first layer here, and I'm gonna use a lot of water. So right now I'm just doing the outline. And now here I'm working on the shadows. So these are all the shadows. And I'm gonna use my good old paint here for this part, and I'm using this kind of blue, light blue color for the background here. Again, this is just a first layer. I'm gonna add more layers here, and on the edges I'm just gonna use a gray color. I'm not really focusing on my brush strokes here because I'm using a lot of water. So first I apply the gray on the edges and slowly blending into that blue I have there, and use just a gray on the bottom. Everything is dry now, and I'm gonna use these two colors, blue and purple basically. I'm using this brush, and I'm also using a black color. And I'm just gonna mix this all three colors here, and I'm gonna use this on a background again, so on the same spot that I added earlier around the edges again. Now this part is a little bit messier part because I'm gonna use a spray here, and I'm just gonna make my whole background kind of more abstract. Now my table wasn't flat, so I have to move to the floor, and I'm just working again on the shadows again and just making it darker using still that same color. And I wanted to make it look like it's dripping, so I just tilt my canvas here. And again, trust the process. It's gonna look very messy right now, but I just hold it for maybe a minute here, and then I just let it dry completely because my sand was also very loose, and I had to also let that dry. So I let it dry completely overnight, and this was my 4th day working on this painting. Okay, so I'm using these brushes here. I'm gonna use 2 brushes, bigger for the bigger area, smaller for the smaller area, and I'm gonna start working on my Ganesh. Alright, I'm just using black and white for this. Now if you want to paint similar thing but something else, you can also just follow this type of a trick and do the same thing. And to add this white, I'm just applying the white on that little area first, and I'm just gonna go back with some black to do the outline. That is all I'm doing. And if I feel like I want to make some area a little bit more kind of a not too dark, not too light, and add some shadows, I'm just blending that white and black together to create a shade, create and make it look like a shadow. So let me show you on this one area again. I apply white everywhere. Now here I'm applying the outline using black. Now I clean my brush and just using a dry brush going in between that black and white again, and that's gonna create the shadows. And for the jewelry, I just use gray and black, just like this, and I'm gonna add more details later to make that pop out a little bit more. So let me show you one more time. I apply some white again everywhere, go back with just a little black on the edges. If I feel like I have so much black, I clean my brush, or I just go in between those 2 colors to create that light gray color, and that's gonna work as a shadow. And for this painting, I use a Sharpie for the outline so I can clearly see my lines. So I'm just using light gray color and going over those outline so that I can keep that shape I already have there. Now for the whole forehead, I have more shadows. And before I lose my pencil, my marker line here, I just go ahead and add the outline on my eyes. And I use my small brush for that, and I just again follow the mark that I already have there. I did not make any change to that. Okay, so this is all I can do in this one day, and this is day 4. It was very nice and sunshine, and I'm gonna use that same color, and I'm also having my lunch, my lunch as always. Alright, so let's start painting this again. So you don't want to see that glare here, so I just close that, and I'm just gonna start working on the white area again and just adding more highlights first, and I'm gonna finish the feet here. Alright, so now for the crown, I'm gonna do the same thing like I did with the jewelry. I am only using this gray and black color. And later I'm gonna add some more details using some gold. Alright, so now let's add some more colors. So I'm gonna use this bright yellow I have, and I'm mostly gonna apply it right here. And that yellow wasn't popping out that much, so I also use a little bit of white here with the yellow, so you will see a big difference if you are working on any painting like this. If the background is darker, if your color is not popping up that much, just add more white there, and you might have to do a couple layers there. Alright, so the next color I'm gonna use is this orange, and I'm also gonna apply that on the edges right here. I'm gonna blend that yellow and orange a little bit here. Alright, I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm also gonna add just maybe a little touch of black on the edges. Okay, and just apply a little bit of more white on the top. Alright, so now I'm gonna use this red color, more orangey red, and yeah, basically just coloring my whole flower red here. And those lines that you can see inside, I'm just adding more darker, maybe 2 or 3 layers of red color there, so that way you can see the shadows too. And I also use that yellow color for the center of that flower. And I'm just using that same color for the inside. For the outside, it's just a red color. Okay, so the next part is adding some more details using these 2 colors. I'm gonna use gold and this other gold I have here. It's a light gold, I think. Now I'm using this darker gold color I have here on this jewelry, and basically I'm just adding it on the bottom first of this each line I have here, and I'm just using this lighter gold to add this type of dots, and that's all I'm gonna do. And this took me forever to add these dots here, but it was fun. I did that same thing with all the other jewelry I have on this painting. And I almost did the same thing for the crown too. So for the darker and the lighter both area here, I just add a line on the bottom first, like this, and then I just added a dots there. Now these gray circles I have here, what I did is add that same darker gold color on the bottom, just added a line first and then just cover that most of it with the gold, light gold, and just adding more details here. Okay, so for the jewelry, I cannot really see my mark a lot, but maybe barely I can see something. So I'm trying to just do wiggly kind of lines and creating just basically any shape I can think of and creating this neck jewelry. So I started with the darker first, that's gonna look like a shadow. This lighter is gonna be the main jewelry part. I mean all the gold you see there, it's all the jewelry part, but I'm gonna add a black to add a shadow later. Alright, now next part is I'm gonna use this same color I used before and a black color, work on my background again, and I'm also using this glazing medium. And I'm gonna thin down my paint. At first I thought this is gonna change everything, and it did. I wasn't happy with the results, so don't do this part if you are painting with me or maybe painting something like this with me. So you can see me what I'm gonna do here, but I know how to fix it. So my instructor told me if you can paint one thing one time, if you feel like you messed up, first of all, there is nothing you can mess up here, because if you feel like you messed up, you can always paint over it, because if you can paint one time, you can paint as many times as you like. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm just applying this color everywhere on my background. And the wrong thing I did here is I use a wrong brush. Whenever you are using a glazing medium, that's what I learned hard way maybe. So don't use natural bristles brush for this glazing. You can just use like a synthetic bristles brush, like those shiny brushes, you know. Okay, so I was happy with the background now, and I go back at just some more layers here. I started with the gray first. I'm gonna use the same color I used before, but this is actually gonna work out really well. My painting is looking really shiny right now, and after I'm adding all these colors here, it's gonna look a little bit more shinier. So using a glazing, it's not a bad idea. And I just used that same color again on the edges, applying that like a thick outline first, and going over that outline like this to just smudge that a little bit. And then I use that same light blue color and kind of blend this all the colors together. And that wasn't the last layer that's not the last layer I'm gonna apply. I'm gonna add more colors later, so you'll see how I add other colors and make a colorful background. And I also add just maybe a little bit of purple on just some area, just the purple. Alright, so now I'm outside because I'm here to do some more mess. So I'm just gonna use this yellow, same color I used before, and add a lot of water, and I'm gonna add a lot of splatters here. So I use that big brush again and adding this type of yellow right here and just a lot of splatters around. And I also use the orange color same way, adding those splatters almost on the same places. Now on the top right side here, I add some splatters there. I didn't really like that, so I go back with some more dark blue and the light blue there and just make that orange disappear there from there. Now if you watch my other video, I love adding this type of splatters, so I always overdo this, so I cannot stop myself. Whenever I'm doing this part, I just add a lot of splatters everywhere. So here I apply that, I remove that orange with the paper towel and just apply this blue and the dark blue then. And I have to put it on a table here because I have to keep it flat. And yeah, here I'm all done with this painting. And I hope you guys all have fun watching this video. I had so much fun making this painting. This took me 7.5 hours to complete the whole painting. But yeah, it's turned out really good. I'm very happy with how it looks. I'm just gonna add one glazing here. I didn't add that yet, but I'm gonna add that and it's gonna be very shiny. But thank you so much again for watching my video. I'll see you next time, and I'm gonna come back with a very easy, simple painting so you can also paint with me. Bye.